Have you ever stared into the night sky and felt a profound, unsettling sense of infinity? A feeling that what you're seeing is just a single note in an eternal cosmic symphony. We are told a story of a single creation, a singular universe, born from a word or a flash of light. But what if that story, sadhan, is a lie? Or rather, what if it's only a single page in a library of infinite volumes? What if the most sacred, ancient texts on earth are not telling the story of our universe, but are in fact a hidden instruction manual, a cryptic map to an entire multiverse created by God? The truth we're about to uncover is not just a theory, it is an echo reverberating through scripture, myth, and quantum physics. Stay with us, and the very fabric of your reality will be questioned. You will gain a secret lens to read the words you thought you knew, and you will understand why the concept of a single universe may be the greatest deception ever told. We begin in a place familiar to billions, the Book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, 4 simple words that form the bedrock of Western cosmology. But we read it too quickly. We assumed the heavens is just the sky above our heads. The original Hebrew is shamayim, a plural word meaning not one heaven, but multiple heavens. From the very first verse, the blueprint is there, a plurality of realms. And when God says, "Let there be light," we envision a single sun. But modern physics tells us the Big Bang was a cataclysmic expansion of energy, an eruption of light. Could this single command, "Let there be light," be the ignition switch for not one, but an infinite cascade of Big Bangs, each one birthing a new universe within a vast divine matrix? Each day of creation wasn't a 24-hour cycle, but perhaps the formation of an entire dimensional plane, a different vibrational reality, layered one on top of the other, all part of a single divine thought. These aren't separate, disconnected universes, but eternal echoes of that first divine utterance. But the next part will surprise you even more, because this idea isn't hidden in just one book. It is a golden thread woven through the world's most mystical traditions. Let's travel from the deserts of the Middle East to the esoteric schools of Jewish mysticism. Here we find the Kabbalistic tree of life, licensed by Google. It's depicted as 10 spheres, or sephirot, connected by 22 paths. This is not a map of our world. It is a diagram of creation itself, a multidimensional schematic. The Kabbalists taught that God, the Ein Sof, or the infinite nothingness, had to contract himself to create space for existence. This contraction, called the Tzimtzum, didn't just happen once. They believe it is a continuous process, a divine pulse creating endless worlds or realms of existence. The tree of life is the scaffolding upon which these realities are hung, each sphere a different dimension with its own laws, its own spiritual frequency. Our universe, our reality, is just one sphere, Malkuth, the kingdom, at the very bottom of the tree. We are living in the basement of a cosmic mansion with innumerable rooms, and the ancient mystics left us the floor plan. They were trying to tell us that heaven isn't just up. It's a journey through the vibrational layers of God's multiverse. What comes next may change how you see the cycle of life and death forever. We journey now to the Indian subcontinent, to the ancient Vedic texts, whose cosmic timescale dwarfs our modern understanding. The Hindu scriptures speak of the days and nights of Brahma. A single day of Brahma, a kalpa, lasts for 432 billion years. During this day, countless universes or Brahmandas manifest, bubble-like, from the pores of Mahavishnu, who dreams reality into existence. Each bubble contains its own Brahma, its own creator God, its own pantheon, and its own earth. When the day of Brahma ends, he sleeps, and all these universes are drawn back into a singularity, dissolving into the cosmic dream of Vishnu, only to be breathed out again when a new day dawns. This isn't a single creation story. It's a story of infinite, cyclical creations, an eternal echo of birth, death, and rebirth on a multiversal scale. The texts even describe beings and technologies capable of traversing these realities. The Vimanas, often interpreted as simple flying machines, are described in some texts like the Vaimanika Shastra with capabilities that defy our physics. They speak of becoming invisible, of becoming heavy or light, of traveling vast distances in an instant. Were these just myths, or were they descriptions of craft that could shift their vibrational frequency, phasing between these bubble universes, navigating the cosmic ocean of Mahavishnu's dream? The next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know, and it brings this cosmic map right down into the code of our very being. The Gnostic traditions, the so-called forbidden gospels that were ordered to be destroyed, tell a radically different story of creation. They taught that our universe, the material world, was not created by the ultimate, true God. Instead, it was crafted by a lesser flawed being called the Demiurge or Yaldabaoth. This entity, in its arrogance, believed it was the only God, and it trapped divine sparks of the true God, our souls, within this physical prison of a universe. For the Gnostics, salvation was not about worshipping the creator of this world, but about achieving gnosis or secret knowledge, to remember our true origin from beyond this flawed reality. Think about what this implies in a multiversal context. Our universe is just one flawed experiment, one shadow play created by a lower-level entity. But beyond it exists the pleroma, the fullness of the true God, a realm of pure energy and countless other, more perfect realities. The Gnostics were telling us that we are interdimensional beings who have forgotten our home, our sense of longing, our search for meaning, that feeling of not belonging here. Could it be a subconscious memory, an eternal echo of a home that exists in a parallel plane of existence? This isn't just philosophy. It's written in the fabric of reality itself, a fact that our most advanced science is only just beginning to comprehend. In the early 20th century, we stumbled upon the terrifying and beautiful world of quantum mechanics. We discovered that at the subatomic level, particles don't exist in one place. They exist as a wave of probabilities, in a state of superposition, being in all possible places at once. It is only when we observe them that they choose a single state in our reality. This led to the many worlds interpretation proposed by physicist Hugh Everett. He suggested that every time a quantum choice is made, the universe splits. For every possibility, a new parallel universe is created where that outcome becomes reality. A universe where you turned left instead of right. A universe where you chose a different career. An infinite branching tree of realities, constantly splitting, constantly expanding. The ancient Kabbalists drew a tree of life with 22 paths. Modern physicists are now describing a quantum tree of infinite paths. As above, so below, the old Hermetic axiom states. The structure of the cosmos is mirrored in the structure of the atom. God's multiverse is not just a collection of separate bubbles. It's an infinitely branching, interconnected living organism. But the next part will surprise you even more, because this splitting of worlds may have cosmic witnesses. Let us turn the pages of the forbidden book of Enoch, a text so controversial it was excluded from most versions of the Bible. It speaks of a group of angels called the Watchers, who descended from heaven to earth. They were captivated by the beauty of human women and interbred with them, creating a race of giants called the Nephilim. We've always read this as a story of angels and humans. But what if heaven isn't a cloudy paradise above, but a parallel dimension, a universe with a higher vibrational frequency? And what if the Watchers were not angels, but interdimensional beings who learned how to cross the barrier, the veil between worlds? Their crime wasn't just lust, it was a cosmic transgression. They illegally merged the source code of two different realities, creating hybrid beings, the Nephilim, who were not fully of either world. The Great Flood, which is a story found in almost every ancient culture, may not have been about washing away human sin. Perhaps it was a cosmic reset button, a desperate attempt by a creator or a system to purge a corrupted timeline, to erase a reality that had been contaminated by beings from another echo in the multiverse. What comes next may change how you see the very air you breathe. The ancient texts are filled with references to a firmament, a barrier separating the waters above from the waters below. We dismiss this as primitive cosmology, but in the language of string theory, our universe is a brain, a three-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space called the bulk. String theory posits the existence of up to 11 dimensions, most of them curled up and imperceptible to us. It also suggests the existence of other brain universes, floating parallel to our own in the bulk, sometimes only a millimeter away in a higher dimension. Could the waters above and waters below be a poetic description of this very concept? The firmament isn't a solid dome in the sky. It is the dimensional barrier, the very fabric of space-time that separates our brain universe from others. And sometimes, just sometimes, these brains can collide. Physicists theorize that such a collision would release an unimaginable amount of energy, enough to trigger a Big Bang. Could the cyclical creations of Hindu cosmology, the divine utterances of Genesis, be descriptions of these cosmic, interdimensional brain collisions? God is not a being throwing thunderbolts, but the totality of the bulk, the infinite potential within which all these worlds collide, create, and echo. The next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know, a secret encoded not in words but in pure form. Sacred geometry. Across the globe, from Egypt to China to the Maya, we find the same geometric patterns appearing in the most sacred art and architecture. The flower of life, the seed of life, Metatron's cube. These are not mere decorations. Ancient traditions held them to be the primordial blueprints of the universe. The flower of life, for example, is said to contain the patterns of all creation. Within its interlocking circles, one can derive the forms of the Platonic solids, the building blocks of matter itself. What if this isn't the blueprint for our universe? What if it's the source code, the geometric algorithm for the multiverse? Each circle in the seed of life could represent a new dimension, a new universe, birthed from the one before it in a perfect geometric progression, exactly as described in Genesis, the first day, then the second, then the third, each an expanding sphere of creation. These patterns are the language of God before language existed. They are the deep structure upon which all the infinite realities are hung. They are the visual representation of the eternal echoes, a song of creation frozen in geometric perfection. The ancients didn't just write about the multiverse, they drew us its schematics, hoping we would one day have the eyes to see. And this brings us to the most profound and perhaps most unsettling implication of all. If we live in just one of countless realities, and our souls are sparks from a realm beyond this one, then who are we? The concept of quantum entanglement, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance, shows us that two particles can be linked, instantaneously affecting each other no matter how far apart they are. What if this entanglement is not limited to our universe? What if every version of you, in every branching timeline, is quantumly entangled? Your inexplicable feelings of déjà vu, the dreams of places you've never been, the strange sense of connection to a stranger, could these be bleed-throughs, vibrational echoes from your other selves, living out other possibilities in parallel worlds? The ancient Egyptians believed they had a soul, the Ka, but also a spiritual double, the Ba. Many shamanic traditions speak of animal spirits or spiritual guides. Are these all different cultural interpretations of the same multiversal truth? That you are not a single being, but a multidimensional consciousness, a chord being played across the symphony of God's infinite worlds. Your consciousness here, in this reality, is just one note in that chord. And the ultimate journey, the secret hidden in all these texts, is learning how to hear the rest of your own song, to resonate with your eternal echoes.